Welcome to the weekly Your Business column. And this week we're featuring Asuwere, which is a subscription men's clothing business started in 2018 by brothers Sam and Noah Hickey. Now, Noah Hickey is already featured in Your Business column last year for his tech company Whip Around, and these days lives in San Diego. His brother, Auckland-based Sam Hickey, joins me now. Welcome, Sam.
Hi, Fiona. Thanks for having me.
Let's perhaps start about how the business did during COVID.
Yes, so we were pretty lucky in terms of our business model that we'd created. So having the subscription was a really good foundation to get us through that. So we'd had about a year under our belt, so it was pretty fresh in the mix, but thankfully we'd built up a really loyal customer base prior to COVID. And then I think there was a switch from that kind of to work from home, which actually really suited the subscription model and also our product makeup. I think people kind of moved away from being as formal in their office attire, etc. And we've got a really kind of smart, casual, at-home, comfortable range of clothing, and it's all designed to work together, perfect for Zooms and if you've just got the top half. So we actually, I think, like COVID, we were kind of lucky with the business model that we had and let people kind of be able to subscribe and do things a different way.
What prompted you to start the business in the first place?
I guess it's a problem that a lot of men have, especially kind of Noah and myself. I've got years of background in men's fashion and fashion design and working for brands over in London and New Zealand. And more often than not, guys kind of often want just, good quality, staple clothes. And they also seem to be quite hard to find. I just want a good quality t-shirt that doesn't shrink, holds its shape. I need a good pair of chinos. And I feel like brands often forget that the true needs of what a customer's looking for, especially men. So we kind of wanted to come at Asuwere with a bit more of a problem of like, what are the core kind of wardrobe staples that guys need and what builds up the base of a wardrobe, and then also how do guys consume that. So we launched with a perfect linen shirt, which we couldn't find at the time. That went really well. We got a good customer base off the back of that. That was called Samuel Joseph. And then we went on to go, okay, well, we don't want to be another kind of heritage menswear brand. How can we come at this with a bit more of a solution-based approach? So we looked at how our customers shop and we're kind of asking them questions. More often than not, they do a big annual shop and kind of come home with a bag of regrets. And there's, we've all had that where you go, you leave it too late. You go do a big wardrobe overhaul, get home and you're like, oh, that was kind of a dumb purchase. I don't need that because you're kind of in the height of the moment. Might have been told you look good by the shop assistant. So as you were sort of tried to create something that was more around how guys shop, it's delivering guys good quality products that they actually need when they need them, not so much based on fashion seasons, because that's another thing where, people release puffer jackets in February. It's our hottest month of the year. It's like not necessarily what guys need. So we kind of came up with a subscription model that allows guys to get something when they need and delivers it kind of over the course of 12 months. So we do one new item of clothing each month. They're all designed to work seamlessly together, but it's aligned with the weather, so it's kind of taken that hassle of shopping out of it.
What's it like starting a business with your brother? Is he older, bossier?
He is older. He's 10 years my senior, which is... He's kind of been, because he is that little bit older and he's always been doing things at such a different stage in life, I guess I've always sat back and just kind of admired. When I was 10, he was had been playing for the All Whites for 2 years. So for me, it's like at primary school, you think you're the coolest kid in the class when you see like he comes in and does a demo and you're like, that's my brother. So I think I've kind of always really admired him from a young age. And I think he actually somewhat started my addiction in clothing because he was always coming home with his sponsored kit and kind of got me interested in like different clothing. We'd talk about it at a young age of like, oh, these are really cool, but how could we change that pair of shorts to be like this? And so that's something that we've kind of always had, and even from his time going overseas, when he comes back, we'd kind of always be able to catch up and bond on that sort of thing. And parents have been in the rag trade, so it's been in the family. But as I say, I've kind of always admired him and his drive to succeed and kind of, I guess, his level of excellence that he kind of holds himself to has been something that's really inspiring for me. And I think I'm quite lucky to be able to have him as a business partner, because I think many people would like that. And he doesn't kind of, his level of expectations really high. So that pushes me to kind of do better as well, which is, I think, he challenges me, and but it's a really healthy kind of working relationship.
Mm. I see Frank Jasper, who is Whip Around's CFO, and fashion guru Dan Gosling joined your board and your shareholder registry last year. How does having that sort of calibre of people help in terms of your strategy for the business?
I think it's been pretty pivotal, like an amazing part for me. Once we brought our board of directors together, it really kind of, our business grew up a lot, and it's great to have such expertise to kind of lean on for advice. We have monthly board meetings, and the decisions that we make there are much different to when it was just me in that year one, and kind of, you're moving on the fly, whereas it's a lot more strategic. You're looking at like your financials, you're looking at your runway, you're looking at everything in a lot more clearer scope. So I think having such a high caliber of talent on our board has been, for me, just, I'm learning a hell of a lot as well.
What advice would you give to another entrepreneur starting out?
It's challenging. Be prepared to work a lot of hours, I think, but have faith in what you're doing. I think we've been very nimble and we've been changing, so you've got to be very willing to adapt, take on criticism, take on feedback, and make sure that your goal and your vision of what you're trying to achieve for your customers is like at the forefront of what you're doing. Because I think if you kind of get stuck in your ways or push back on things when people are trying to help you, it won't help you whatsoever. So make sure you get a good group of people around you that you can lean on, and we've kind of always had that. Dan Gosling's been in the business from the start, and your ideas are only as good as your own. You're better to bring in other people and really lean on your kind of community that you can get. So don't go at it alone, because that can be pretty isolating.
And just finally, Sam, sustainability, in your supply chain, etc. How important is that to your members and you personally?
I think personally, it's one of the biggest, it's the most, for any business, it should be kind of one of the biggest talking points that you have. So for me, it's really, really important, and it is for our customers. I think our approach to sustainability is to kind of, get better and better every year, and our business model alone has been a great way to introduce kind of different ways to approach how we're ordering product. We let our members order and see up to 6 months in advance before we've ordered product. So it really informs what we're producing before we go and produce too much and create too much waste. And then when it comes to fabrications, that's something as we get bigger and we're able to use more things like organic cotton, I think I'd love to have every single fabric certified and traceable, but when you're at a certain scale, it's actually quite hard to do that, because you've actually got to be making an unsustainable amount of clothing to use sustainable fabrics. But I think for us, we focus on really good quality staples. We use great fabrics, and that is something that people use and wear every single day. So for me, it's kind of great to see these guys come in and they're like, I just love it. I'd wear it every single day. And for me, that's a kind of perfect example of making something that people want and people are going to wear, and it's not going to necessarily wear out straight away because we've really thought about it. And then that circular economy, we try to, we've got something called Give to Get. So we launched that about 6 months after we start, and we want to encourage our members to give us clothes that they no longer need so that we can give them to those that do. And that's been a really successful thing. We've donated probably over 500 to 1,000 pieces of our own clothing, but then also we've got other brands' clothing from members who they've brought in, and shoes, and we work with Fix Up Look Sharp, who help guys get into the workforce through a new outfit, and then also Koha Apparel, who help the homeless and do a kind of like a donation, get an item of clothing. So it's all a pretty important part of the journey for us, and I think it's something that everyone's got clothes in their wardrobes that they don't wear, but they're perfectly good condition, and someone else could be benefiting from those.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Sam Hickey.
Thank you, Fiona. Cheers.